Divine Secrets of Ear Ringing, 7 Miraculous Messages Revealed for Prophetic Clarity and Healing in a Vibrant Urban Faith Community Buzzing with Hope. Sarah, a devoted mother of 2, finds herself enveloped in a world where spirituality intertwines with everyday life. As she walks into St. Jude's Church, the air hums with excitement and divine expectancy. The stained glass windows overflow with light, casting colorful patterns that dance across the wooden pews. Yet, amidst the worship and warmth, a strange ringing fills Sarah's ears, a soft chime that grows in intensity, causing a gentle tremble in her heart. Is this a sign? Initially, she brushes it aside. But the ringing changes during a family prayer meeting dedicated to St. Jude, the patron saint of lost causes. As their voices rise in fervent prayer, the sound crescendos, a call to attention unlike any other. Could it be God? She wonders, her spirit quickening with possible revelations. Focusing intently, Sarah begins to perceive patterns intertwined with the ringing. Each episode brings a renewed awareness of healing and forgiveness, revealing the deep-seated grievances nestled within her family. The moments transcend coincidence, they morph into potent reminders of God's presence, invitation to restore unity at home. When Sarah shares these realizations with her church community, their response is nothing short of astonishing. They band together in prayer, amplifying her awareness, fostering collective hope, and witnessing the miracle of transformation unfold. Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. But joy turns to despair as a tragic accident strikes her eldest child. The very air feels heavier, the once reassuring ringing vanishes, leaving Sarah in a silence that amplifies her doubts. Was this all just illusion? She thinks, spiraling into darkness, questioning even the very essence of her faith. Yet, a climactic healing service emerges from the shadows, a candle at night filled with testimonies and cries for the divine. In the midst of it all, Sarah faces her most profound challenge: can she trust in miracles once more? As she pleads for guidance, a shimmering presence surrounds her. Suddenly, with a flourish of heavenly light, the ringing returns, echoing a message laden with promise, a testimony not only of healing for her family but a revelation of God's unyielding grace. In that moment, with tears streaming and spirits lifted, the heart of the community beats as one. As they witness miraculous signs of renewal, love transcends all past grievances, igniting a revival that resonates through the church. But in the aftermath, a haunting question lingers in Sarah's mind: what happens when the next trial arrives? Will the ringing fade once more, leaving her longing for clarity? The story hangs delicately, painting the mysteries of faith, and leaving the reader breathless with anticipation for what divine secrets await next. As dawn breaks the following morning, a warm golden light filters through the clouds, bathing the world in soft radiance. Sarah slips out of bed, her heart still heavy. In the quiet of her home, the silence feels almost oppressive. The ringing that had once been a spiritual guide has faded into a lingering echo of uncertainty. With each passing hour, doubts slither back into her mind, whispering fears of inadequacy. Was I truly worthy of such divine attention? What if the light was only a flicker? She glances over at her children, nestled peacefully in their beds, and a wave of love washes over her. It is in moments like these that she senses the divine wellspring of strength within her, an unshakable connection that binds her to her family, her community, and ultimately, to God. Stepping outside, she is greeted by the sounds of her neighborhood, a burst of laughter, the playful barks of dogs, and the melodic chirping of birds. Each sound feels like a gentle reminder of life's beauty, coaxing her spirit to awaken. With a determined heart, she decides that today will not be clouded by despair. Instead, she walks toward St. Jude's Church, her sanctuary. As she enters, the familiar scent of old wood and burning candles envelopes her. Here, Within these walls, she has witnessed innumerable miracles and moments of divine presence. As she kneels before the altar, the emptiness of the past few days looms heavy. "Lord, I need to hear your voice again," she whispers, feeling vulnerable yet hopeful. It's in that sincerity that she finds a flicker of faith igniting within her. Moments pass, each second stretching into eternity. Then, without warning, the ringing returns, but this time, it's different. It wraps around her like a warm embrace, pulsating with an unmistakable vibrancy. In her spirit, she feels words rising, a message meant for her ears alone. This is not the end but a beginning. The sound washes over her, energizing every fiber of her being. Tears begin to stream down her cheeks, jewels of faith shining through her sorrow. With each drop, she releases the burdens she carried, letting go of doubt and fear, allowing divine clarity to seep in. She opens her eyes, witnessing the light refracting through the stained glass, illuminating the once dull corners of her mind and heart. The intertwining colors dance, reminding her of the beauty in unity created through trials. With this newfound insight, Sarah understands that the absence of ringing was part of her journey, a lesson in resilience, a call to strengthen her connection with God. After moments of prayer, she rises with renewed conviction. The sanctuary now feels alive, filled with energy and purpose. She joins fellow congregants arriving for morning prayer. The warmth of community floods her heart, igniting the spark of collective faith. Sarah shares her experience with those gathered. "The ringing returned to tell me that we are not left alone in our despair," she proclaims, her voice steady. "Let us embrace each challenge as a chance for divine revelation." The atmosphere thrums with excitement, sparking a discussion that buzzes like a newfound spark, igniting the faithful hearts around her. One member speaks of their own struggles, another shares their miraculous healing, a tapestry of experiences showcasing God's relentless pursuit of his children. As Sarah listens, a thought ignites in the back of her mind. What if this is the first step towards an even greater revelation, a challenge yet unseen that would call them all to unite and stand together? But just as this thought begins to take root, she feels a flicker of apprehension. What lies ahead? And will they all be ready when the moment of divine revelation arrives? Continuing this journey, she senses the potential unfolding before them. Each soul present is a thread of a larger narrative woven with powerful divine purpose. The next trial beckons on the horizon, a call to prepare her heart and spirit. Can they rise together, fortified by faith? Only time will reveal the answers hidden within the sacred silence. As the morning service comes to a close, a sense of interconnectedness fills the air. The members of St. Jude's Church are no longer just individuals milling about, they are vessels of the same divine message, each carrying a piece of the greater tapestry that is being woven together. Sarah feels this presence all around her, as if the walls themselves are pulsing with the unified heartbeat of hope. With a heart still brimming with joy, she takes a deep breath, letting the sense of incense and aged wood ground her. As she turns to leave, a familiar voice calls her back. It's Mrs. Thompson, a wise woman known for her deep faith and gentle spirit. "Sarah, dear," she says, her eyes sparkling like stars, "there is something special about the way you shared today. God is moving in you. Don't let fear shackle your voice again." Sarah smiles, feeling warmth radiate from Mrs. Thompson's words. They are a balm to her spirit, giving her confidence to continue on this path of divine revelation. "Thank you," she replies softly, her heart swelling with gratitude. "Remember, my dear," Mrs. Thompson continues, "the ringing in our ears is often a nudge from the Holy Spirit. It signifies that God has something important to say. Don't shy away from his teachings." The wisdom of her words lingers in the air, rich with potential. Motivated by this encounter, Sarah steps outside and feels the sun enveloping her in its golden embrace. She has a newfound sense of purpose. The neighborhood continues to hum with life, children chase each other, while the scent of freshly baked bread drifts from the local bakery. Each moment seems imbued with divinity, calling her to pay attention and embrace deeper connections with the people around her. As she makes her way home, Sarah considers her role within this community. She thinks about the struggles each person faces and how united they could become if they shared their burdens. What revelations might unfold if they came together, trusting in God and each other. Her thoughts flutter to the idea of an evening gathering, a safe space where everyone could share. What if they spoke of their pain and joy? Perhaps stories of God's grace would weave them closer, unveiling a collective purpose. When she arrives home, the joyful chatter of her children fills her with a renewed sense of peace. They run to her, their arms wide open, inviting her into their world. As they play and laugh, Sarah's heart sings with the truth that love is indeed the bridge to divine communication. Later that evening, as she prepares dinner, the idea takes root. With every chop of the vegetables and stir of the pot, she envisions the gathering in her mind. But doubt creeps in once more. What if no one is interested? What if they dismiss her ideas? Yet just as she stirs the pot, a gentle ringing resonates in her ears, and she finds reassurance in its soft tone, a reminder that she is being guided. Without hesitation, she gathers her children. Tomorrow, we're inviting some friends over. I want us to share our stories, she announces with growing enthusiasm. They beam back at her, excited at the prospect of connection. As they sit down for dinner, laughter fills their small kitchen. But beneath the joy, Sarah feels the stirring of something larger brewing in her heart. Could this gathering unfold into a pivotal moment? In the quiet after dinner, as she reflects alone in the fading light, she wonders what messages will emerge. What divine secrets lie ahead, waiting for their hearts to be opened? Will they be prepared for the power of truth when it arrives? The lingering question echoes in her mind, drawing her deeper into anticipation. Tomorrow holds the promise of connection, a chance to discover the divine plans that await her and her community. What miraculous insights will they uncover together? As dawn breaks, soft rays of light peek through the curtains, dancing across Sarah's face. She stirs awake with a feeling akin to sacred excitement buzzing in her heart. Today is the day. She rises from bed, her mind filled with thoughts of the evening gathering. Their essay fluttering in her stomach, anticipation mingled with traces of uncertainty. While preparing breakfast, she hums an old hymn that echoes through her soul. The melody warms the air around her, and the familiar tune reminds her that God is ever present, guiding her steps. Each poke of the spatula in the frying pan feels like a sprinkle of divine connection, an invitation to trust in the journey ahead. The chaotic energy of children fills the house moments later, and their laughter weaves a rich tapestry of joy that lifts her spirit. "Mama, can we help set the table?" her youngest asks, eyes bright with enthusiasm. "Of course. It's going to be special today," Sarah replies, her heart awakening to the beauty of shared effort and community. With their little hands working in harmony, setting out plates and pouring juice, Sarah's nerves start to settle. She gazes at her children, feeling hope bloom like flowers in spring. What if these stories shared today bring healing? What if God decides to move in a way none of them expect? As the sun rises higher, casting a warm glow over St. Jude's Church, Sarah walks through her neighborhood, inviting friends and neighbors to tonight's gathering. Each door she knocks on opens to expectant smiles. The warmth of community wraps around her like a thick blanket. Will there be cookies? A neighbor chuckles, the twinkle in her eye a reminder of childhood simplicity. Of course. Sarah laughs in reply, feeling the bond tighten as she continues her rounds, an abundance of hope flowing through her like a river. By the time the evening nears, her home feels alive with anticipation. The kitchen bustles with aromas of fresh cookies and home-cooked meals, each bite a testament to the love being extended into the hearts of those who will gather. As the clock ticks closer to the start time, her children rush around, their spirits infectious. Together, they form a circle in the living room, each face radiating joy like candle flames lit by a higher purpose. Holding hands, they say a simple prayer for those who will join them. Once friends begin to arrive, laughter spills inside the house, painting the walls with the colors of connection. The room fills with familiar faces, each bringing their own stories, struggles, and joys. Conversations flow like a bubbling brook, voices mingling in a symphony of shared experience, yet, amid the warmth, a stillness hovers, a sacred silence nestled between the exchanges. Sarah senses it, the presence of something greater enveloping them. As her heart beats in rhythm with the gathering, she feels the profound weight of the stories yet to be told. Suddenly, as evening deepens, the gentle ringing in her ears comes back, stronger now with purpose. It echoes through her thoughts, calling for her attention. Perhaps, she murmurs under her breath, this gathering is not just about sharing tales, but about unlocking the divine within each of us. What can the Spirit reveal tonight? The very air thrums with expectancy, a rich promise woven into the tapestry of the moment. As they sit closely on the couches and chairs, Sarah leans in, heart full of courage. "Let us begin," she says, her voice steady yet tender. "Tonight, together, we will uncover the divine secrets and miracles hidden within our stories." With these words, an electrifying hush descends upon the room. The atmosphere thickens with the sacred, and Sarah wonders, what transformative truths will surface? What revelations await in the stillness? The night is still young, and the promise of divine intervention looms as she hears the faint ringing once more. Will they be ready for what unfolds? The room hushes as Sarah's words linger in the air like a fragrant incense, wafting softly to the hearts of those gathered. Eyes sparkle with anticipation, and an unspoken agreement connects them all, a desire to delve deeper, to discover the hidden treasures that lie within their shared experiences. Who would like to go first? Sarah asks, her voice gentle, inviting stories to unfold like petals blooming at sunrise. The moments that follow feel sacred, a beautiful exploration of life, faith, and community. Tom, an elderly gentleman with a kind face, speaks first. His voice quivers slightly but gains strength as he shares his tale of resilience. "When I lost my wife a couple of years ago, I thought I would never smile again. But it was during a church service, as the worship songs filled the hall, I heard her laughter. 'Keep going, Tom,' she said. 'You are never alone.' Tears glisten in his eyes, but a warmth radiates from him, wrapping those nearby in comfort. As he closes his story, silence hangs in the room, not stagnant, but charged with the presence of love and loss, heartache and hope. Sarah feels that electrifying spirit once again, stirring within her. What a miracle! Tom's story ignites a flicker of courage in others, prompting them to share as well. Lily, a single mother, begins hesitantly but soon finds her footing. "Last summer, everything seemed to fall apart. Bills piled up, and I had no idea how I was going to make ends meet. One night, while praying, I just felt this overwhelming peace wash over me. I realized that my worth doesn't come from what I own, it comes from who I am in Christ." A soft gasp of joy follows as her vulnerability resonates deeply among the listeners. Each story shared unfurls like a rich tapestry, woven with threads of struggle, hope, healing, and unwavering faith. Sarah watches the faces around her transform, smiles break like dawn, and hearts begin to ignite with newfound joy. As they share, the ringing in the air intensifies, swirling around them like a sacred melody. Sarah looks around the room, her spirit buoyed by the collective experience unfolding. Could it be that this music originates from the divine? "Listen, everyone," she interjects softly, trying to capture their attention. "That sound, it's as if God is speaking." Heads nod, and she can see understanding bloom in the eyes of her friends. This shared moment is more than just stories, it's an invitation to listen and tune into something astonishingly greater. Then, Mark, who has been slowly nodding along, finally stands. "I've been silent for so long, afraid of sharing my own battles." The room holds its breath. "But it's in our truth that we find unity. Last year, I battled depression. I felt so lost. Yet, in my darkest moments, I heard a whisper reassuring me that God was holding me tight, guiding me through even when I couldn't see the path." With each story shared, the atmosphere pulses with light. Their healing narratives form a bridge connecting their souls, making space for divine healing to arrive. The clock strikes, signaling the late hour, yet Sarah feels compelled to dive even deeper. Before we wrap up for the night, let us hold hands and pray together. Let us ask for divine clarity on what we have shared. As hands clasp, joy and sacred vulnerability hang proud in the air. Marvelously, she senses the room align with something holy, as though they are growing into one spirit in this shared prayer. Just as she begins to speak, a soft but firm voice echoes in her heart, "Ask them, Sarah, what is God calling them to do with these stories?" An inspiration swells within her, filling her with divine urgency. What if tonight's revelations also come with action? She proposes courageously. What if these stories become catalysts for something bigger within our community? The question hangs, filled with promise. What are they being urged to do next? The air shimmers with anticipation as they await a decision, grounded in faith, eager to uncover the plan woven by a divine hand. Would they answer the call? What divine destiny is about to unfold? The room vibrates with a holy expectation, each heart poised like an instrument ready to play its part in a divine symphony. The flickering candles cast dancing shadows on the walls, mirroring the restless energy stirring among them. Sarah's question echoes in their minds. What are they being called to do with their stories? Lily glances at Tom, who nods encouragingly, his expression a blend of hope and patience. Maybe we are supposed to reach out to others, she suggests, her voice rising with conviction. There are so many people who feel just as we do. What if we shared our experiences more openly over coffee, on social media? Or organize community prayer nights? Chimes in Mark, his enthusiasm blooming like a spring flower. Imagine the strength in gathering everyone who feels lost or alone. We could create a space where others feel safe to share. Hold on, Sarah interjects gently, feeling a wave of wisdom wash over her. Let us consider what God might be placing on our hearts specifically. This isn't just about what we can do. It's about where He is leading us. A silence envelopes them, reflective and sacred. It's as if each story shared has woven a thread connecting them, forming a tapestry of collective experiences. The air whispers with possibilities, and Sarah can almost hear that divine melody again, calling them to something bigger. Suddenly, the light feels different. A warmth envelopes the room, and Sarah closes her eyes, sensing a presence that fills her with deep reverence. What if we prayed about it? Not just now, but every time we gather. We could seek His guidance together and listen for the actions He desires from us. Nods of agreement ripple through the group. Sarah opens her eyes to see a wave of courage reflected back at her. It ignites a fire in her spirit. Every story carries a message, right? We could journal our experiences and share these writings as testimonies like a book of faith. Tom smiles, his eyes glistening with a mixture of joy and nostalgia. A collection of our journeys, each one a note in a melody shared by many. How beautiful that could be. Let us not forget to pray for each other as we go forward, says Lily softly. We can hold one another up when the weight of life tries to drag us down. The energy in the room shifts, a collective spirit rising as they connect in that shared vision. Their stories, once solitary battles, now feel like stepping stones towards something transformative. Just as they begin to outline their plans, a sudden hush blankets the room. The soft, enchanting sound that Sarah had noticed earlier returns, more prominent now. It wraps around them, guiding them into a deeper reverence. Listen. Sarah urges, hearts beating in unison as they close their eyes. With the sound settling, it's as if a curtain has been lifted. They sense open channels between their spirits and the divine, inviting clarity, wisdom, and a profound calling. Within this sacred haven, something shifts. A sense of urgency, of divine companionship fills the air, urging them to take action. Do you feel it? Mark whispers, his face illuminated by the flickering candlelight. It's like we've been entrusted with something critical. What if we are being called not just to share our stories but to actively seek out those in need? Lily's pulse quickens, her heart racing with the thrill of potential. We could become the hands and feet of Christ in our community. A surge of passion ignites among them as they share ideas with fervor, determination blooming in their hearts. The plan begins to take shape, but uncertainty remains. The divine whisper continues to echo, what if this is just the beginning? As they hold hands once again, Sarah feels the urgency shift into an abiding peace. Let us close in prayer, asking for His vision and revelation in our lives. As they bow their heads, the warmth deepens, a light envelopes them all, promising guidance, clarity, and purpose. With their hearts unified, they wait in expectancy, poised to receive answers, but lingering beneath the surface lies a question, punctuating their reverie. How far might God lead them? What divine surprises await just beyond their understanding? What unfolded next felt like being suspended in a golden moment, where time lost its grip. Each member of the group felt a collective pulse, a heartbeat of the spirit, thrumming through their veins. The warmth that wrapped around them was unlike anything they had experienced before. It was a reassurance, a promise that they were no longer alone in their journeys. As the last amen escaped their lips, silence lingered, thick and weighty, yet filled with possibilities. The candles flickered, casting a glow that danced like the fluttering wings of angels. In that moment, something shifted within Sarah. She felt a stirring deep in her spirit, a quiet knowing blooming like a flower grasping for sunlight. Did anyone else feel that? Tom broke the silence, his voice barely above a whisper, almost reverential. Lily's eyes sparkled with understanding. Yes. It was like God was opening a door we didn't even know existed. Mark leaned forward, urgency lighting up his face. What if that's it? What if this room, this gathering, is just the starting line? We've been invited to something far greater, haven't we? Sarah looked into the eyes of her friends, a rush of determination filling her heart. We need to listen more intently. Perhaps we each have a role to play, a vision to pursue. But we should also pray for the courage to act on these revelations. A murmur of agreement rippled through them. Each person's heart began to race with anticipation. What if they were to embrace uncomfortable challenges? What if this divine prompting was asking them to venture beyond their comfort zones? Imagine reaching out to those in real need, Lily said, her voice infused with excitement. Not just helping, but establishing connections. What if we could create community through shared struggles, offering hope and help? Tom nodded thoughtfully, his brows furrowed with the weight of the moment. We could develop support groups, where we lift each other up in prayer and action. But, we also need to reflect on why we do this. Our foundation has to be Him, right? A holy hush fell upon them. They understood that this calling was grounded in faith, a movement that began with a commitment to honor the love that had brought them together. Suddenly, the enchanting sound returned, wrapping them in a warm embrace. It seemed to carry an invitation, urging them to step outside of themselves and into the lives of others. Sarah felt her heart race again, an echo of that divine calling striking her spirit with clarity. What if we start with prayer walks? Just walking through our neighborhoods, praying for each house, each heart. The others nodded vigorously. It was the beginning of a strategy unfolding, a way to take their faith beyond the walls of their meeting space. Let's pick a date and start small, Mark suggested, excitement spilling over. Before the week is out, we could begin this mission. Prayer walks, open discussions, and gatherings. We have to be deliberate. As they each proposed various ideas, slowly crafting a plan with the fervor born of inspiration, laughter began to fill the air, buoyed by shared faith. This was not merely about striking out on their own but about weaving a community that reflected the love they each had experienced. Yet, as the euphoria built, Sarah felt another wave of energy wash over her. It was a gentle reminder that this journey would not be without its struggles. Each of them would need to cling to that divine strength woven through their stories. Let us remain flexible and open, ready for whatever God reveals. We don't know everything yet, Sarah said, her tone contemplative. What if these miraculous moments you all envision require us to take bold steps of faith? And with this thought, a quiet anticipation filled the room again. They had planted seeds of intention, but how would they nurture them? What challenges might lie ahead as they ventured into unfamiliar territory? As they began to pray over their plans, an understanding settled among them. This was just the beginning of a grand adventure, one ripe with divine surprises and heavenly encounters. What would they discover when they stepped out in faith? How would they develop the resilience needed to follow God's prompting in their lives? The uncertainty loomed like a horizon just waiting to be crossed, leaving them yearning for the next steps ahead. What awaited them on the other side of their courage? As dawn crept over the horizon, casting its amber hue across the sleepy town, Sarah found herself restless with anticipation. Today was the day they would initiate their prayer walks, each step another venture into the unknown. The excitement coursed through her, but beneath it lay a current of fear. What if their efforts yielded nothing? What if they failed to connect with those they sought to help? She gathered with Tom, Mark, and Lily outside the church, each of them buzzing with a mix of energy and trepidation. The morning air felt crisp, fresh with promise. "Are you ready?" Mark asked, a playful grin lifting the corners of his mouth. "Ready as I'll ever be," Sarah replied, though her heart raced at what lay ahead. "Let us pray before we head out," suggested Lily, her voice steady and calm, grounding the group. They formed a small circle, hands clasped tightly together. She spoke softly, her words filled with intention. "Lord, guide each step we take. Open our eyes to see your people and our hearts to love them like you love us." As Lily finished, the group stood quietly for a moment, sensing the presence of God enveloping them. There was an undeniable weight of purpose, a divine charge to ignite their faith into action. They started their walk, moving through the peaceful streets lined with modest houses. Each doorway seemed to beckon them. Sarah closed her eyes for a moment and envisioned each person living behind those doors. What stories did they carry? What burdens were they holding? With each step, a sense of urgency mixed with joy unfolded within her. "Let us pray for this home," Tom suggested, stopping at a modest, blue-painted house. The front lawn was adorned with colorful blooms reaching for the sun, yet an aura of sadness seemed to linger just beyond the threshold. "Dear God, we pray for peace in this home," Sarah whispered, her heart swelling with compassion. "Help us reach them if they need a helping hand." Suddenly, the sound returned, the subtle, sweet melody of their earlier gathering, whispering through the air like an ancient hymn. A familiar warmth washed over them. It filled the space around them, and for a moment, they all paused, caught in a sacred embrace of the Spirit. "Do you hear that?" Lily exclaimed, her eyes shimmering with wonder. "It's beautiful," Mark breathed, awestruck. Realization dawned on Sarah. The sound was a reminder of their calling, a gentle nudge to look beyond their own desires. They were instruments of hope, meant to tune into the needs of those around them. "God is guiding us," Sarah murmured, strength surging through her spirit. As they continued down the street, more houses came into view. The layered life stories behind each door began to crystallize in Sarah's mind. Encountering their vulnerability and struggles felt like opening a treasure chest rich and full of potential. With every prayer whispered and every step taken, the haze of uncertainty began to lift. Joy started to replace doubt. "I think we should knock on a few doors," Tom proposed, igniting another flicker of fear in Sarah. "Really?" she asked, hesitantly. Would they be met with open hearts or closed doors? "Yes. We need to be brave. We're here to listen and share God's love," he urged. Their hearts raced with a mix of exhilaration and vulnerability as they approached the nearest door. Sarah's breath caught. This was uncharted territory. But didn't they believe in the power of love? Could God not work through them, even in their faltering steps? All eyes turned to her, each friend silently asking for her lead. With a firm resolve igniting within, she knocked on the door. The sound resonated, echoing the call to gather and share. What revelations would burst forth when they stepped through this portal of faith? Would they find hearts eager to connect? And if so, how would they carry the weight of the stories that awaited them? The door creaked open slowly, revealing a woman with kind, tired eyes and a gentle demeanor. Her graying hair was pulled loosely back, and she wore an old, faded cardigan over her clothes. There was a flicker of surprise in her gaze, quickly replaced by cautious curiosity as she studied the four strangers standing on her doorstep. "Hello," Sarah began, her voice trembling slightly but steady. "We're from the church down the street. We're here to, pray for our neighbors and offer support if anyone needs it." The woman took a moment, processing their presence. A shared silence enveloped them, where unspoken emotions danced in the air. Then, a smile broke over her lips, warming the cool morning. "That's very kind of you," she replied, her voice soft like a lullaby. "I could use a bit of prayer." Sarah's heart surged with hope. "May we come in?" Without waiting for an invitation, Sarah stepped over the threshold, and her friends followed, filling the small living room with their tentative energy. The room was adorned with photographs and trinkets that told of cherished times and family bonds. Memories hung thick in the air. Once settled, Sarah spoke again, "We'd love to pray for you. Is there anything specific on your heart?" The woman's eyes glimmered with unshed tears. "My husband," she began, voice thick. "He's been sick for a while, and I'm afraid." Before she could finish, her words cascaded into a flood of raw emotion. "It's been hard, I feel so alone." Tom reached out, his hand gently clasping hers, creating a bridge of connection. "You're not alone," he said softly. "We're here with you." Lily shifted slightly forward, her voice soft yet strong. "Let us pray right now." They formed a circle again, this time in the woman's living room, a sanctuary formed by the weaving together of four hopeful hearts. Lily's prayers rose like fragrant incense, filling the space with a palpable peace. She asked for healing, for comfort, and for strength. As they prayed, Sarah's eyes fell gently upon the nearby window, where a beam of sunlight broke through the clouds, casting a warm glow across the room. It felt as if God was wrapping his arms around them, cocooning them in his love. When the prayer ended, the woman was visibly calmer, though the worry still lingered in her eyes. "Thank you," she whispered, unfurling the weight she felt amidst their presence. Sharing her burden felt like lightening an anchor that had kept her bound. "Would you mind if we came back to check on you?" Sarah asked, emboldened by the intimacy of the moment. "You can count on us." "I'd like that," the woman replied, her smile now radiant with nurturing hope. As they left, an unexpected lightness filled Sarah's heart. She realized their simple act of love had woven a thread of connection. They stepped into the cool air again, each taking a deep breath, filled with a newfound sense of purpose. "Did you feel that?" Mark breathed, almost reverently. "It was like we were meant to be there." "Exactly." "It was beautiful," Sarah responded. "But there's so much more around us waiting. We have to keep going." They resumed their journey, stepping with purpose, the world stretching out before them like a canvas eager for brush strokes of grace. What awaited them down the road? What stories lingered behind the next door? Little did they know, today's encounter was just the beginning of unraveling divine secrets that would change everything. Would they dare unlock the next blessing waiting to be revealed? As the sun surrendered to the horizon, painting the sky with hues of gold and deep purple, Sarah stood at the threshold of her home, heart swelling with gratitude. Today had transformed into a divine tapestry of connection, woven tightly with threads of vulnerability and courage. The ringing in her ears pulsed softly, a gentle reminder of God's presence coursing through her like a river flowing towards the sea. That evening, after returning from their prayer walk, the small gathering transformed into a vibrant celebration of faith. Friends and neighbors filtered into her home, their laughter mingling with the warm aroma of freshly baked cookies and hearty casserole. The once distant notion of community had now taken root, bursting forth like blooming flowers after a long winter. Each soul that entered felt like a piece of the puzzle essential to the picture God was crafting. As everyone settled, Sarah called for attention, her heart racing, words bubbling to the surface. "Tonight is not just about sharing our stories," she began, her voice trembling with anticipation, "but about recognizing what God is birthing in us. He has guided us here for a reason." A murmur of agreement spread through the room, eyes sparkling with expectancy. Their collective journey had led them to this moment, a sacred convergence of faith and unity. Sarah felt the ringing swell, intertwining harmoniously with the beat of their hearts. Lily spoke up next, her eyes enlivened with purpose. "Let us create a space for each of us to share our stories, our struggles, and our victories. Each life is an echo of grace, and together we can build a stronger foundation of hope. As one by one, stories began to flow like living water, the struggles, the joy, the miraculous moments, all recounted with fervor and authenticity. Mark recounted a time when faith led him through a job loss, a dark valley that nearly swallowed his hope. "It was the prayers and love from each of you that pulled me back into the light," he declared, his voice quaking with emotion. Tears glistened in Sarah's eyes. The sacred ringing reached a crescendo, wrapping the room in divine affirmation. This gathering was indeed a holy endeavor, a manifestation of God's love in action. Tom, remembering those dim days after losing his wife, finally volunteered. "In sharing my pain, I discovered the healing power of community. Each one of you is a balm to my soul, a reminder that God delights in bringing forth joy from sorrow." A deep silence followed, reverent and echoing, as if angels themselves were listening. In that atmosphere, the room transformed into a spiritual sanctuary. The weight of unshared burdens lightened, hearts opened like blossoms beneath the sun. And Sarah realized that in uncovering their own truth, they had fortified their faith together. "I feel God is calling us to do more than just gather," Sarah announced, feeling the rising urgency in her spirit. "What if we extend this light beyond our own walls? There are many who need to feel His love." Nods of agreement lit the faces around her. They buzzed with ideas: a community outreach program, a safe space for conversation, and prayer walks that would now not only include their immediate neighborhood but also reach out to nearby communities. As plans took shape, the soft ringing returned, intensifying its melodic embrace. It was more than a sound, it was God's voice affirming their purpose. Whispers of potential danced within the hearts of her friends, igniting a fire that could not be snuffed. Next came a unifying prayer, each person's voice rising together, an unbreakable chain of faith. "Lord, send us where you want us, let our hands be your hands, let our voices carry your message of love." When the prayer concluded, Sarah felt an electric current flowing among them like a live wire. Could it be? They were ready. God had prepared them through each trial. The ringing crescendoed, calling them forth no longer simply as individuals but as a community gathered in His name. That night, as candles flickered and laughter filled the air, Sarah stole a moment alone by the window. The world outside felt different, as if the universe itself resonated with new possibility. She smiled, her heart bursting with joy, feeling the divine presence encircle her like a warm embrace. Fast forward some weeks later, and Sarah's initiative had blossomed. Together, the group had organized the first community prayer walk, and the neighborhood had joined them, hearts open, ready for God's touch. Each step taken was infused with purpose, every door knocked a chance to invite light into the dark corners of doubt. As the ringing continued to resonate in her ears, Sarah knew they were on the path God laid out, a journey teeming with miraculous encounters and revelations. Sarah gathered her children and looked around. "We are building something beautiful," she whispered, her voice trembling with gratitude. "What began as a gentle ringing in my ears has transformed into a symphony of hope." And with that, the transformation continued. The invitation to listen to God's calling reverberated in her spirit, guiding her into new territories of faith. Uncertainty and fear had been transmuted into action and community. She understood now, the ringing would come and go, but God's guidance would always remain, whispering gentle truths to the hearts willing to listen. Angelic blessings cascaded upon them like a waterfall, each drop a miracle, each sound a reminder that they were never alone. As the sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in tones of love, Sarah felt a peaceful resolution in her heart. They had embraced the divine secrets hidden within their lives and forged a path to healing, courage, and unbreakable community, and this was just the beginning. Now, dear friends gathered here, you have witnessed the transformation. Don't wait even one more second to share this journey of faith. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories that will inspire and uplift you. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and keep these divine messages spreading. Comment your reactions to this powerful ending and share how it has touched your heart. And most importantly, share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this manifestation of God's love. You need to rise in faith with us. Be part of this divine community, and let us unleash a wave of hope together.